Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing European outlook for today's second video. So it's also on a Thursday, we're having a look at the weather next week to 10 days in detail across Europe. I shall get off that for you very shortly. Just say that the first video release was our 7 AM upload. We've got a 10 to 14 day with all of our regular features coming up for you later on this afternoon. Please like, share, subscribe on the video. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Right, let's start off then with the situation across Europe today. So high pressure is dominating in many areas. We've got this ridge extending in from the Atlantic all the way over towards southern parts of Russia. There's low pressure in the Mediterranean. There's low pressure over Scandinavia. That's quite a cold area of low pressure as well. And then there's another low beginning to move in towards Ireland and the UK. Upper air temperatures are looking like this. So northern parts of Europe are quite cool across Scandinavia. Otherwise, the upper air temperatures are relatively warm. But of course, under the high pressure over across Eastern Europe, it will be colder on the surface. Precipitation-wise, lots of dry weather, of course, as you'd expect, with high pressure dominating. There is heavy showers and thunderstorms through the central bowl of the Med. We've got outbreaks of rain, sleet and snow across some parts of northern and western Scandinavia, particularly affecting Norway. And a band of wet and windy weather moving in towards Ireland as well. Otherwise, the emphasis, though, is on pretty dry weather today. Temperatures are a little bit on the cool side, though, through many central and eastern areas. It's actually quite cold in the far east of Europe, and again, that's a result of that area of high pressure sitting there over the continental landmass, of course. Going to Scandinavia, it looks pretty cold, especially across central and northern areas, with some snow up there. Western Europe is a lot milder, and most of the Med also pretty mild too. Into tomorrow, Friday, low pressure will head into the UK and Ireland. That will bring a spell of wind and rain. Otherwise, again, quite a bit of high pressure around many parts of Europe. That area of low pressure over Scandinavia is moving into northwestern Russia and weakening, and we still have this trough of low pressure through the central portion of the Med too. Our air temperatures are generally quite warm, really, in most areas, but it is cold across the far north of Europe through central and all parts of Scandinavia. Precipitation-wise, again, got those heavy showers and thunderstorms through the central bowl of the Med. Some outbreaks of rain, sleet and snow, or outbreaks of rain from the UK, turning perhaps to sleet and snow across some parts of Norway. And further northwards into northern Norway and Sweden, yes, of course, there will be snow up there. Otherwise, again, the emphasis tomorrow is on dry weather in many parts of Europe, maybe a few snow flurries for eastern Finland, but basically the emphasis is on dry weather for many parts of Europe tomorrow, and that big area of high pressure. Turning colder across Scandinavia, the temperatures are lowering, going sub-zero across many central and northern parts of Scandinavia in particular. Winter really, truly biting there. Generally quite cool under the high pressure of the central parts of Europe. Mildest temperatures again across West Europe, especially France, Spain and Portugal, into southern England and Ireland, and then extending again through the Mediterranean. Pretty warm through there. Into Saturday, that area of low pressure moves from the North Sea in towards the Low Countries. Could bring some wet weather in towards Belgium, Holland and the Netherlands, maybe extending into Denmark and northern Germany as well. Otherwise, high pressure is rebuilding behind the low across western parts of Europe, because it never really turns unsettled across France, Spain and Portugal. And still the ridge carrying on in the eastern part of Europe as well. The upper air temperatures, again, winter being held at bay, really, with the upper air temperatures anyway, across central and northern parts of Scandinavia and into northeastern Europe and also northwest parts of Russia. Otherwise, again, it's quite a warm scene with the upper air temperature, particularly so out across western parts of Europe and through the Med. Precipitation-wise, wet weather from the UK and Ireland extends through the Low Countries in towards particularly northern and western Germany and possibly up towards Denmark as well. Scandinavia has a lot of dry weather, but there could be some, or the Scandinavian Peninsula has a lot of dry weather, but there could be some snow flurries around in places, especially further northwards. Again, otherwise, the emphasis is on dry weather, really, with plenty of high pressure on Saturday. Down in the central part of the Med, there might be some heavy showers and some thunderstorms, especially perhaps around southern parts of Italy and extending up the Adriatic. Temperature-wise, northern Europe looks pretty cold, actually. So Scandinavia sub-zero. Maybe a little bit cooler across western parts of Europe as well. Highest temperatures probably through the Med, through southern Europe and into the southeastern corner too. Otherwise, chilly under the ridge of high pressure through those central and eastern regions. Sunday, we'll see low pressure perhaps deepening across the Mediterranean, between around France and Italy. We might start to get some heavy showers and thunderstorms going there from that area of low pressure. Generally looks more unsettled across southern Europe. Higher pressure again dominating across many northern and western parts of Europe. That's how the upper air temperature look on Sunday. Relatively warm in most areas, but cold in the extreme north and northeast with those upper air temperatures. Lots of heavy showers and thunderstorms breaking out through the central bowl of the Med and extending in towards Italy as well. That could give some really heavy snow over the Alps as well, with that snow extending a little bit further, with that rain and snow extending a little bit further northward, snow through mountainous areas, of course. Might be some showers breaking out around the Adriatic and the Balkans too, and possibly even around some of the Greek islands. We might get some heavy showers breaking out on Sunday. Otherwise, most central north parts of Europe looking quite dry. Much of Western Europe actually looks quite dry, except some showers across eastern parts of France. Temperatures are lower in the west of Europe on Sunday, not as, not dramatically so, but certainly there is a few degrees being shaved off temperature over the weekend across Western Europe. Coldest temperatures, though, will be across Northern Europe, really getting very cold indeed across central northern parts of Scandinavia. And then we go through into Monday, and we're going to try and introduce a westerly flow off the Atlantic into towards the north of Scotland, and that will push on perhaps into parts of Scandinavia as well. The ridge of high pressure road dominates from Ireland towards west parts of Russia, and they have low pressure here again through the Mediterranean. So the upper air temperatures not becoming milder, a milder push of air off the Atlantic into western parts of Europe, that beginning to extending towards Scandinavia and northeastern Europe as well. At the same time, we have really quite mild or relatively warm upper air temperatures across southern eastern parts of Europe too. Precipitation-wise, outbreaks of rain will turn to snow as they hit the cold air over Norway, and that'll start pushing through in towards Sweden perhaps later on, and maybe even into Finland later on in the day. Otherwise, many areas will be dry again on Monday with high pressure dominating, but down into the Mediterranean, lots of heavy showers and thunderstorms breaking out between Spain and Italy, and some of those might affect parts of Greece as well. Temperature wise, we look like that, so not as cold across Scandinavia, but still, of course, chilly, still cold, because it is going into the winter, but not as cold as it is over the weekend. Otherwise, relatively cool with the temperatures really through many parts of Europe, but I suppose technically it's going to be reasonably mild. And then down into the Mediterranean again, it looks relatively warm through there, but we do have those heavy showers and thunderstorms as a price to pay. On into Tuesday, and low pressure dominates across far north of Europe and down into central bowl of Med. Otherwise, this ridge continues to keep most parts of Europe mainly dry. Upper air temperatures look pretty warm in most areas. We have those heavy showers and thunderstorms still swirling around there through the central bowl of the Med. Some torrential rain in places, further rain, sleet and snow affecting northern Scotland in towards Norway in particular. Otherwise, again, the emphasis really is on dry weather. I'm struggling to find things to talk about because there's going to be a lot of dry anticyclonic weather, to be honest, in many parts of Europe with only trivial amounts of light rain and drizzle coming into those areas, or that area of high pressure. But temperature looks a little bit on the cool side in many areas in those green colours, so there is a cool down going on as the days go by, particularly across western parts of Europe and about ridge of high pressure, Scandinavia and western parts of Russia getting the coldest weather though. Wednesday, that high pressure just gradually begins to slip south and starts to break down, so turning a little bit more unsettled across the northern and western parts of Europe in particular. Upper air temperatures are still relatively mild in most areas. Outbreaks of rain, sleet and snow over Scandinavia, perhaps a little bit more in way of rain coming in towards Ireland and western parts of Britain as well. Heavy showers and thunderstorms through the Mediterranean, particularly around Italy and again into southeastern corner of the Med. Otherwise, there's a swathe of pretty dry weather from Spain and Portugal all the way to western parts of Russia, as it has been throughout this, throughout this forecast period. Temperature-wise, again, it's quite cool in many areas and about ridge of high pressure because it's November, despite being warm. Upper air temperatures with mild upper air temperatures on the surface. It will be relatively cool. We have to watch out for frost and fog as well under this ridge of high pressure. That's especially through continental Europe, central parts of Europe. Could get some fog, but it's reasonably mild in the west and the southwest of Europe and through the Mediterranean. coldest again across the far north, as you would expect. And then on Thursday, that high pressure is slowly but surely slipping further southwards, with westerly, mild westerly, but a westerly being introduced across many northern, central and western parts of Europe at this point. The upper air temperatures look pretty mild in most areas, actually quite warm air coming into the west of Europe once again. Further outbreaks of rain getting heavier and more widespread from the UK and Ireland, extending in towards Germany and Denmark. Go further northwards, that will turn to snow as it bumps into cold air across northern parts of Scandinavia. Further heavy showers and thunderstorms in the eastern part of the Mediterranean, just extending up into the Balkans. Otherwise, again, that ridge brings a lot of dry weather from Spain and Portugal to southwestern parts of Russia, and temperatures on Wednesday really quite mild across western parts of Europe, lifting back up into mid-teens Celsius through Ireland and the UK, northern France, for example. Coldest further north and east. And then we'll just extend on to day 10. So that area of low pressure will pull cold air back into Scandinavia as we go into the end of next week. Another northerly plunge coming through Scandinavia, and that pushing on into eastern, northeastern parts of Europe. So Latvia, Estonia, might get some much colder weather by the end of next week. Otherwise, this ridge will keep the west of Europe relatively mild and reasonably dry as well. That ridge then is going to weekend of the 20th, 21st November. That ridge sort of pulls out to the west, and that starts to bring more widespread cold weather into northern and maybe even some western parts of Europe as well. So definite cold shot there, northerly blast into Scandinavia. Northern East Europe might get as far south as Poland and Ukraine, and so winter really sets in there in the north and the northeast of Europe by the weekend of the 20th, 21st of November. Out west, we're more or less keeping that northerly at bay with this area of high pressure, but of course if it goes any further north and west, then even the western part of Europe will come into the firing line of that northerly, so it remains to be seen what happens with that northerly, how far west those northerly winds will back. Right, that's it for your European Outlook for this week then. Please smash the like button if you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for doing that. We'll be back shortly with the 10 to 14 day. That will include all of the regular features. So come back for that then for the European Outlook for this week though. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.